What is going on, everyone? Today is July 6th, 2021, and as always, there has been a lot of news going around in the sports world recently, and I am here to talk about it. So that being said, I'm Adam Avin, and this is episode 24 of Make Your Point.
Hey, you're watching Make Your Point.
What's going on, everyone? It feels great to be back, talking to you guys, talking to everyone who's watching right now. As you can all see, I'm by myself on the screen right now. There's no one else near me. You're not going to hear any other voices in this episode. It's just me today, and that's because it's summer and everyone is away. All of my friends, the whole Make Your Point crew right now is basically away on vacation, out of the state and other countries. Like, it's crazy where everyone is, including my varsity water polo goalie co-host Zach Roisman. He is away as well, so that leaves me here alone. But I knew I had to film today because today something special is happening. It is the first game tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern time, of the NBA Finals between the Milwaukee Bucks and the Phoenix Suns. Huge deal. We're very excited for this matchup. We've seen the Suns go 8-0 last year in the bubble. Obviously, Coach Monty Williams, who was picked among the Coaches Association as the Coach of the Year, he should have won official Coach of the Year by the league as well. He has had a tremendous season leading this Phoenix Sun team, which for years has been such a disappointment. Their roster just has never lived up to the hype, but this year they did something different. James Jones won Executive of the Year, former Miami Heat player, former three-point champion, who's now the GM for the Phoenix Suns. He brought in Jay Crowder. He brought in Chris Paul, the point guard, who has just been playing unbelievable this season, scoring 41 points to close out the Western Conference Finals against the Clippers, who didn't have Kawhi, obviously, but still, Chris Paul went off and he came back from a short injury. So I'm excited to see him be in his first ever NBA Finals appearance. Something that just hits different about the fact that Chris Paul is playing in NBA Finals. Like, I don't know, like I want him to win one so bad. And for me, obviously, that's my prediction. I'm going to say Suns are going to win the finals. I want Chris Paul to win this finals, but I know the question everyone's asking right now, and we see it all over the news, and obviously there's a few big stars in this finals matchup. Obviously, Giannis is there. Chris Middleton's been stepping up to the plate a little bit. I'll get into that in a little bit. DeAndre Ayton has stepped up big time for the Suns this postseason. Chris Paul is there. Devin Booker's there. Obviously, we'll get into him a little bit too. But CP3 is making his first finals. Giannis is making his first finals. The Bucks have gone out in a few recent years. The Heat last year, obviously the year before that as well, to the Celtics, I believe. So the Bucks just really haven't been living up to the hype that they're supposed to. Giannis is already a two-time MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, a multi-time All-Star already. He's just completely taken his game to a whole new level. But there has been a lot of talk about him in the postseason not being able to perform how he should perform and leading that team to NBA Finals, to a championship, their first ever. Same for the Suns as well. The Suns have never won a championship. Last time they went to an NBA Finals was in 1993 with Charles Barkley against Michael Jordan and the Bulls that year. Obviously, the Suns ended up losing, but the Suns are finally back. The Bucks are back. So I'm really excited to see this one play out. But the question everyone's asking is, will this finals mean more to CP3 or to Giannis's legacy? Right? Because CP3, 16th NBA season, first time making the NBA Finals. Obviously, that's a huge deal. And for me personally, I wish Zach was here to argue. Man, it feels so weird to just sit here and talk by myself. But I know that it's important. But it feels so weird not to have someone here to talk to. But I'm doing it because I have to. Zach, if you're watching, I hope you are watching. I hope wherever you are. I hope you're watching, but he doesn't have his phone, so I can't really talk to him. But hi, you're out there, you're watching. I know you are. But anyways, for me personally, CP3, Chris Paul, for me, I think this means a lot more to his legacy. I know a few episodes ago, maybe the last episode, actually, our first one that we were able to do back in person since COVID started, our last episode 23, go back and watch that if you haven't already. It's me and Zach in person. It was a couple months ago. But when we filmed that, we started talking about the greatest point guards of all time. Gave our lists on air. We talked about that a little bit. And for me, I put Chris Paul at 5, I believe. I don't remember my list exactly. Again, it was a while ago, and we've taken a little bit of hiatus for some pretty good reasons. But Chris Paul, I put it at 5. Really, like I think he's the top 5 point guard of all time. I think he's proved it. Every time he's gone to a team, I'll try to find it. I'll put it up behind me. If the first season, like Chris Paul went to a team, their team became a winner, but then the season it was before, like I think the first time he went to the Clippers, the year before he came to the Clippers were like 20 and 60 or something, or really bad, and then he went to the Clippers and they were like 50 and 20, you know what I mean? So he and then he went to the Thunder, a team that was supposed to suck, and he went there, turned them into a playoff team. Did the same thing with the Suns this year, they've had Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton for a couple of years, haven't performed. Monty Williams stepped in as coach. Obviously, that made a huge impact as well, bringing in Jay Crowder too. But Chris Paul has tremendously changed that Suns team, like no one really thought he would, right? So obviously, I think for him, this finals will be incredibly important going into his 16th season, changing teams as he does. Winning an NBA Finals will definitely put him in the top 3 conversation, in my opinion. Obviously, for me, Steph, Magic are up there. Obviously, he's the 2 greatest of all time in no particular order, by the way. Because obviously conversations change all the time. But CP3 is definitely going to have to be in the conversation in his 16th year, leading a Suns team, which for many years was a disappointment, to an NBA Finals appearance and hopefully a win. Kendrick Perkins brought this up on The Jump the other day. He said the thing that's so impressive about Chris Paul, and this isn't verbatim, but the thing that's so impressive about Chris Paul is that he didn't take the build a super team route that every other star has. And I know you're kind of killing some other stars' reputations by saying that or diminishing their talent or whatever, but like it's true. Kevin Durant went and joined a 73-win Warriors team, the greatest team assembled. They end up winning the championship, right? That's not really a surprise. LeBron gets paired with AD for a season. Obviously, this season he got injured, but last season wins the championship. He went to the Heat, win championship. You know, like all these stars. James Harden now in Brooklyn with KD, Kyrie. So obviously, there's a lot of super teams. Paul George, I meant, and Kawhi. Obviously, Kawhi got injured, but there's a lot of examples of super teams. And Chris Paul went to a team with his former coach, a coach that he loved, who he had back in New Orleans, when he started his career, like years ago, right? So obviously he went where he wanted to be. He went with Devin Booker, a rising star in the league, who's just been playing out of his mind. So I think it's incredibly impressive for CP3 for doing what he's doing at his age in his 16th season in the NBA. Obviously, for Giannis, it would be it'd be important for his legacy too. But where the point where Giannis is at his career, he still has so much left to play. The style of his play, obviously, he needs to develop a jump shot. His free throw shooting is not it. He needs to do better. But obviously, he has a lot more time. After all the stars that we've grown up with are going out, like D Wade's already gone, right? Chris Bosh's already gone. Now it's KD, Steph, LeBron, Clay, they're all 30 and up. James Harden, 30 and up. Kyrie's getting up there. Like, all these guys are going to start to decline. I don't want to knock on wood. I hope they don't. Yeah, LeBron's still 36, turning 37, going to play at an extremely high level. I know he will. But, there's just something about it. Giannis has the time. Giannis is going to be here after these guys leave, and he's going to be one of the last standing. And I really feel like he'll be able to win something down the line. At the current moment, I really think that CP3's legacy will be defined by this championship because I really think he needs it. Plus, I really want him to win. If you couldn't tell that already, by the way, I've just been talking about it this whole time. I do really want him to win. But yeah, so that's my take on that. We'll go to the next one. All right, so move on a little bit. We'll stick with NBA Finals. I just kind of talked about Chris Paul and Giannis a little bit. Obviously, them two are the two main stars in the series, and they're making the biggest impact for their teams, and I think everyone knows that, right? Obviously, Chris Paul has always kind of been the star on the team. Obviously, when he was with James Harden, it wasn't like he was behind him, right? It was like he came there to help try and win a championship. When he went out in that Game 7 against the Warriors, they lost because he wasn't there. He made a significant impact. When he's on a team, he is one of, if not the star in the team, right? But Giannis has never shown up in the postseason before. So this postseason specifically, obviously he got injured. So we don't know where he's going to be at right now for tonight. He was listed as doubtful for tonight. Don't believe he's going to play. That being said, he hasn't shown up in the postseason. But you know who has? Chris Middleton has. Tremendously. Chris Middleton the other night to close out the Eastern Conference Finals against the Hawks, put on a 28-point third quarter performance. Just played out of his mind. Giannis was injured. Chris Middleton did this to the Heat when Giannis went out last season in the bubble. The Heat were up 2-0. Giannis went out game 3. And in game 3, Chris Middleton went off for 30, 40 points, torched the Heat, hit like a close game winner shot over them against the full healthy Heat team, I might add, and just destroyed. Chris Middleton knows how to take his performance up to a high level. Kendrick Perkins the other day. By the way, I know Kendrick Perkins gets a lot of flack for the shit he says sometimes by a lot of the other analysts on ESPN and things. But to me, everything he says is pretty much accurate, and I think that's coming from a place as him being a former player. I just feel like I trust his knowledge a lot. Him, RJ, Jalen, they know what they're talking about. Jay Will, all the ESPN guys like that. But they're all really smart. And when Kendrick Perkins says Chris Middleton is a Batman, he's the leader of the team. He performs when he needs to perform. Giannis, like the thing is, Giannis's daily stats can be 20, 10, and 7, right? Like those are he always does that, but that's just his playing style. He lives in the paint, takes some occasional jumpers here and there, and those are games where he's really on the money. But like usually he's in the paint. He like a 20, 10, and 7 game for Giannis can be seen as a bad game for him. But Chris Middleton, there are some games where he disappears, but when he needs to step up, he really does. And you see it when Giannis isn't on the floor. When Giannis isn't on the floor, Chris Middleton takes the game into his own hands. So that begs the question, is he the Batman of that team? Is Giannis really the Robin? Is Giannis just kind of making it easier for Chris Middleton to perform? I really think it's going to be very interesting when Giannis comes back from injury. Hopefully he comes back from injury, because that would only make the NBA Finals that much more interesting, and he should have a chance to fight for the title as well. But if Chris Middleton's out there performing by himself at a very high level and possibly beating the Suns team with a healthy CP3, DeAndre Ayton, Jay Crowder, and Devin Booker, then there's going to have to be some serious talk in Milwaukee on the future of Mike Budenholzer, who has already been on the hot seat for a minute now. Giannis, Chris Middleton, something with the roster. You brought in Drew Holiday and PJ Tucker, which has made a tremendous impact, and it's still not helping. It's going to be very interesting to watch. Me personally, I wouldn't call Chris Middleton a Batman just yet. I wouldn't call him the lead guy on a team. I don't think he is the lead guy on a team. But the way he performs when Giannis isn't there says something. And hopefully when Giannis does come back, he'll be able to carry that high level of performance into those games with him. I don't know. I have a feeling that this NBA Finals is going to be a special one. Hopefully Giannis comes back. Like I said, 5 years ago, it's 2021. 5 years ago, it was 2016. LeBron's 3-1 deficit comeback to win the NBA Finals. Legendary. The block on Andre Iguodala, won Finals MVP that year. Kyrie hit the shot over Steph, that three to close out in Game 7. Obviously a legendary Finals. We're about to watch a Finals tonight with Chris Paul in his first NBA Finals, Giannis in his first NBA Finals, Devin Booker already in his fourth year making the Finals, Andre Ayton for another first for overall pick in the draft, his third year making the Finals. It's just so exciting. I'm so excited to watch this Finals. And by the way, like I said before, only a few years ago, the Bucks and the Suns were nowhere. Like I remember when the big three in Miami were playing, and I would go to Heat games, and I was starting to really get into basketball and really get into sports from a young age. And I just remember when you're playing 2K and playing all those games, like teams like the Suns, the Magic, the Bucks, the Sixers were all teams that sucked so bad. like they were rated so low in those games. Every player on the teams weren't good. Like no one wanted to play with them in those games. And now all the only teams people want to play with are those teams. Magic excluded. Sorry, Orlando, but it's true. Like a lot of the teams from only 6 years ago are the teams that just have completely flipped the switch nowadays. And I just think like even the Lakers too, like the Lakers, Kobe was dealing with injury, getting older, about to retire. The Lakers were really just not good for a while, and they get LeBron, they get AD, obviously things start switching. So I just think everything right now is kind of crazy, and for the Suns and Bucks to be in a finals where they are from just a few years ago when no one thought they'd be in this position, especially if Giannis wasn't performing how he should. It's just honestly crazy to me. But I'm very excited to watch. My final prediction, you guys will find out at the end of the show. Let's move on. All right, so a lot of NBA Finals talk, I know, but that's just the biggest thing that's going on right now. Obviously, the first game is tonight. Obviously, the Finals means a close to the NBA season, which is very sad. However, there has still been a little bit of news, other stuff going on, some drama in the NBA community. 6-time NBA Finals champion with the Chicago Bulls, Scottie Pippen, multi-time All-Star, Defensive Player of the Year, just overall great basketball player, one of the top 50 greatest of all time. Has been stirring the pot a little bit recently. He went on Twitter. I'll find the tweets. I'll put them up behind me. See, ding. And he got into beef with some KD. I don't have I'm not seeing the exact tweet, but it's here. He basically just called him out for not being a team player. He said he was trying to do everything himself. Wasn't getting his teammates involved. First of all, that's not true at all, right? He lost his two best teammates, James Harden and Kyrie, dealing with injury. James Harden came back a little bit, but wasn't playing how he was earlier in the season. KD brought that team against a healthy Giannis to a Game 7 in the semis. They really should have made the Eastern Conference Finals if KD's teammates were healthy, but the stuff KD was doing in those finals were just absolutely unbelievable. I don't think there's one other person in the world besides Scottie Pippen who watched that finals, who looked at that finals, that series, and thought that KD was doing way too much. Like, KD was doing as much as he could to lift the team to where they needed to be. So I just think that's blasphemous, as Stephen A would say. I think it's blasphemous. Obviously, KD was playing amazing, and KD was being the best team player as he could while still being the leader and trying to lift the team up to win, like a LeBron James would, like a Steph would, like a Kobe would, like everyone, right? KD was being the superstar, scorer, player, all-time great that he needed to be in that series, especially that Game 7, and it really showed. Ultimately, they couldn't pull through, but I think for Scottie Pippen to call him out like that was uncalled for. Then he took some shots at Stephen A. On Twitter as well, after Stephen A. went on First Take that morning after he saw those tweets from Scottie and said, "Are you kidding me? Every single person won a championship by being a team player, or even the best players won a champ." He started going on, and I don't remember exactly what. So sorry if I'm kind of rambling all over the place a little bit, but Scottie was, he tweeted back. He was like, "Hey, LeBron won his championships without any help. LeBron James won a championship without any help." Put up right behind me again. But Stephen A went off. He was like, "Are you kidding me?" And I agree. LeBron, when he came to Miami, he had D. Wade Bosh, Ray Allen too. The Heat obviously had a great bench core. Mario Chalmers, Norris Cole, Rashard Lewis was here at some point. Mike Miller, James Jones, Birdman. He just had a great team around him. Then he goes to Cleveland. He gets Kyrie. They bring in Kevin Love. J.R. Smith goes there. Trying to think of some other players too. But again, LeBron had the help. He had the help he needed to win a championship, to come back 3-1 in the NBA Finals. Then he goes to L.A., has Anthony Davis. LeBron has had all these pieces. The only time he didn't really have a superstar teammate or anything like that was in 2007. When he went to the NBA Finals with the Cavs. They obviously got swept by the Spurs that year in the finals. He didn't have any help, but for him to be that young, to be, I can't remember his exact age, 22, 23, and bring a team to the finals like that in only his fifth year in the league was absolutely crazy. But obviously they couldn't pull through because he didn't have any help. Every great player has had help. Michael Jordan has gone on and said that he wouldn't have been able to win to be as successful as he was without Scottie Pippen by his side. So for Scottie to say that LeBron has won a championship without any help, that's just not true. LeBron is one of the all-time greats, arguably in the conversation for greatest of all time, right? But he's obviously had help in winning championships. And then Scottie Pippen just went on. He just went on again. He did a podcast or tweeted out. I don't remember exactly. I'll put it right there again. He went and called Phil Jackson a racist. He went and said that picking Tony Kukoc to take that game-winning shot to put him in and create a play for him was because he wanted to give the white guy a chance. I don't remember exactly what he said, and please don't take my words wrong or misconstrue. I don't want to misconstrue them by any way, but he basically called Phil Jackson a racist, which is just crazy to me. KD even tweeted it out. I'll put it right there. KD said, "Is this coming from the same?" By the way, I didn't even mention KD responded. I'll put it right there. He basically said, "Is this seriously coming from the guy who, when coach drew up a play for another player, put a towel on his head and went and sat by the bench, and a guy who rehabbed during the season so he didn't have to play?" Like, talk about not being a team player, right? Like, when something wasn't going his way, he sat out. Obviously, Scottie's going through a lot. He just lost his son. Obviously, that can take a toll on a person and somebody's mental health. Scottie has never really said crazy stuff like this before. He's been on ESPN On the Jump. He's been an analyst for ESPN. He's gone on First Take and spoke with Stephen A. He's friends with Stephen A. He's made his opinions very vocal. But for him to tweet out the stuff that he's saying, to tweet at KD and Stephen A. like that and say some of the things that he said and go on podcasts and call his former coach, who they all have good relationships with, who they all said was a great coach, and they wouldn't have won the championships without him, to call him a racist, it's just crazy to me. And I don't know. It just all seems very weird. But let's move on. I can't even. Okay, let's go. All right. So another really big thing going on in the news right now, switching the gears from basketball to college, is that college athletes, NCAA athletes are now allowed to get paid using their NIL name, image, and likeness. The Supreme Court ruled it. NCAA agreed. They're changing the rule. They're going to get paid a little bit. Players like Miles Bridges already tweeted out, "Yo, can I get my $40 back?" Back when he was in college, he took $40 from something. Can't remember what it was exactly. The NCAA let him off with a hook. They let him return to play if he donated $40 to charity. So he did that, but he tweeted out, he was like, "Yo, can I get my $40 back?" Reggie Bush has caused the biggest drama and the biggest support. If you don't know the Reggie Bush story, I'll try to give a brief summary. Again, I don't know everything detail by detail, so don't let me misconstrue my words. But basically, Reggie Bush, when he was playing at USC at a very high level, clearly going to win the Heisman, took money from an agent who offered to help his family. They put his family in a house by the campus. He didn't think anything of it, as no one would, especially if you come from a low-income household, to provide money for free to your family. You get a scholarship to a school to play football, be the star that you are. He did it all very genuine. It wasn't trying to sneak by the rules or anything. He did it to help his family while he was there at school. Obviously, he went on to win the Heisman Trophy. He broke all the records at USC, many he holds in the NCAA overall. And then, obviously, an investigation was done. They found out that he did take money from this agent that helped his family, the house near the campus or whatever, and he got in some pretty big trouble. So all his records and his Heisman got basically thrown out the window. They banned him from the USC campus, although he's recently he's allowed to return back to the campus, I believe. But he's still banned from the NCAA, I guess. All his records are still gone. They're suspended. But now that this rule is out, everyone, including himself, he put out a statement. Again, I'll put it right there, but he basically said now that this rule has changed, he believes that his trophies and his all his trophies, his Heisman, his records, USC, NCAA total, should be reinstated. Everyone is giving his support. I give my support. I think Reggie Bush deserves everything back. He was a former Miami Dolphin. Love the guy. He was a good player. And he should definitely everything that he got while he was there should be given back. All of this has caused a bunch of huge drama already. There are already rumors swirling that top coaches like Dabo Swinney are threatening to retire now, because with this new rule, you really don't know how much money a player's going to get paid. Like JJ Redick came out and said it. Johnny Manziel came out and said it. Like I would have made a bag when I was there. Like I would have made so much money. Like Tim Tebow, one of the most famous, greatest college football athletes of all time, couldn't sell a jersey with the number 15 on it. Like couldn't sell a jersey with his name on it. Trevor Lawrence couldn't sell a Trevor Lawrence Clemson jersey. Like all of Zion, like all these famous athletes, these players were not allowed to make a profit off of their name, image, and likeness. But this also begs the question that, let's say a coach is getting paid $8 million a year, right, to be the head coach of this football team of a winning organization, of a winning college team, who goes to the college football playoff every year, which, by the way, they're thinking of expanding to 12 teams, which I'm a very big fan of because I think the 4 teams is very annoying. So expand it. It'll make it much interesting. But besides the point, a coach could be making $8 million a year, and then through promotions and commercials and now being able to sell jerseys and things, the top players in college could be making a crap load of money. What's going to happen when one of these players is going to be making just as or maybe even more money than like their coach? Like that's going to be serious drama, and obviously it might not be the best look on a top prospect. Let's say the quarterback for a team is the highest recruit. He's making an upwards of a few $1 million a year, based off of promotions and selling and stuff like that. But his offensive line, who are all 5 stars, all highly recruited, but just not famous at all, aren't getting anything, and he's taking in all the stuff, then that might not be a good look on him either, and it might cause a rift between him and his teammates. Like this rule in the long run, I do believe will be good for some college athletes. NCAA, EA, NCAA football, please come back. We need it back. But Kenan, I'm talking to you. If you're watching, Kenan, hi, you're out there. But seriously, there are a lot of things that are going to be good because of this. But also some top prospects and that they're going to have to watch themselves. They're going to have to be a little bit gentle with this. But you know what? Let's move on from this. Just wanted to talk about that for a minute. I know it's big in the news right now, but the NBA Finals tonight, so I'm very excited. But let's run through a little bit more topics right here. Joey Chestnut ate 76 hot dogs on July 4th. It happens every year. The Nathan's hot dog eating contest. Ate 76 hot dogs in 10 minutes to break. He broke his own world record, by the way. That guy's absolutely insane. Like Jake, hopefully you're watching. You're away too. But Jake the other day posted on one of his stories on social media saying Joey Chestnut is the GOAT of all the GOATs in all sports ever, and he 14 years straight just continues to beat his own records, eat more hot dogs as he gets older and older, and just continues to destroy. And first of all, it's disgusting to watch, but it's just he's just amazing. It's crazy. But anyways, besides the point, this Saturday, Dustin Poirier, Conor McGregor going for bout number 3. Conor McGregor got the first one, obviously. Poirier got the second. So this is a big one. Obviously, there was a lot of drama with them. Conor McGregor was going to donate to his charity, but he didn't. Or the process, the money was still in process of being transferred to the charity. But either way, Dustin Poirier got pissed, and so they're fighting again for a third time. Very excited to see this one. They've been going back at it a lot over since the last fight, which wasn't too long ago either, but still very excited to see it. Shohei Ohtani, the Los Angeles Angels. Sorry, I don't watch baseball that much. I'm reading. Los Angeles Angels pitcher, right? He became the first All-Star picked as a pitcher, position player. Obviously, tremendous feat for him. He's the first player ever to hit 30 home runs and pitch in 10 or more games. I'm not the biggest baseball fan. I don't keep up with it as much as I probably should, especially on a sports show. But I can't. Zach is the same, so we can't really talk. But But obviously, what he's doing is impressive. Congrats to him. He's playing out of his mind. It's not every day, to be completely honest with you, where you see one baseball star, or I guess really like one team, one star in the news every single day. When you look on your phone, I see Ohtani every day hitting a home run, pitching, and Sports Center is just going crazy. Everything. So definitely props to him. So now that we've gone through a little bit of some other topics that are just going on right now, just thought I wanted to talk about for a little bit. We're gonna try a brand new segment here on the show. Obviously, I'm alone. I don't have my partners, my friends here with me, so I'm gonna create a new segment. And Zach, feel free to give your opinion on it. Okay? Everyone, please welcome Adam's Answers. All right. Well, wow, this is exciting. My very own segment on my show, Adam's Answers. I know it has a good ring to it. Basically, what this segment is these are not questions that I have written, but these are questions. These are questions that were sent in to me by friends. I reached out. I posted on my stories. Hey guys, send me some questions. Talk about it. Make your point. These are all audience ask questions, so I'm gonna answer them. They're opinion based. So let's this is the first time I'm really going through these. So let's see what they are. All right, number 1. What's more important, Jimmy's or Xavier's contract extension? Very interesting. Obviously, if you don't know those players, it's Jimmy Butler and Xavier Howard. Jimmy Butler's in the Miami Heat. Xavier Howard is the cornerback DB for the Miami Dolphins. Xavier Howard last season led the league with interceptions, 10 or 11, I believe. Just played absolutely out of his mind last year. He already, a couple years ago, signed a 4-year, $75 million contract extension, and now he is asking for another one. He's holding out of camp. He's obviously he did not win Defensive Player of the last year. Obviously, Aaron Donald did because Aaron Donald's just a beast. However, Xavier Howard was in the conversation. He clearly should have. He led the league in interceptions. He has just been playing out of his mind, and so he rightfully deserves more money. Jimmy Butler led the Heat to a finals appearance last year. This year was not the same. The Heat this year went through COVID. They went through injury. They went through loss of roster control. This season was not the best for the Miami Heat. However, through all the ups and downs, Jimmy Butler always prevailed when we needed him most. But obviously it gets to a point where you can't do everything by yourself, which is what happened with Kevin Durant against the Bucks. So, what is more important? At this moment in time, I'm going to say Xavier Howard. When I look at both rosters, when I look at them as individuals, Jimmy Butler is already 32, 33, I believe. So he's on the wrong side of 30. Still producing at a very high level, don't get me wrong. But we got Tyler Hero, we got Bam. Dragic is obviously on the decline. But, the Heat are pretty close to one more piece, maybe a Damian Lillard who might be looking to leave Portland, maybe Ben Simmons who might be leaving to leave. I don't know, but some sign Depot back, maybe. I don't know, but a lot of players want to leave right now, or there's a little bit of discussion of maybe it's time for him to leave, maybe it's time for me to go somewhere else. So I really feel like the Heat are one superstar player away from being a championship contender. And I really believe that Jimmy Butler loves it here in Miami and would be willing to take a minimized contract if he could to help the team to win a championship. I really think that's his goal right now. He's on the wrong side of 30. I think that's his goal. As for Xavier Howard, he's still a young buck. He wants to win. He wants to be a star in this league. He deserves the money. He deserves to be in the star in this league. I would say Xavier Howard is more important. Obviously, I think there needs to be some discussion on the exact amount of money that he wants. If it's crazy, then obviously that needs to be looked at. But The Dolphins need him right now. The Dolphins obviously went through some stuff last year. We obviously went 10-6, 10-6, right? It's a 17-game season now, but last year it was 10-6. And we missed the playoffs by a game. Tua got in there. He's going to come back this year, hopefully play a lot better. We got Will Fuller now. We got Jalen Waddle now. We brought in tight end Hunter Long. Our offensive line is a lot better. We lost Kyle Van Noy, but we brought in Malik Hooker. We brought in someone else on the defense who I'm blanking on right now. But we got some good pieces, and I believe that the Dolphins we're in a tough division with the Bills, the Patriots, who are always up and down. We're not going to know where the Patriots are going to be right now. Actually, that's one of the next questions, but I'll get into that in a little bit. Okay. Yeah. So I'm gonna say Xavier. Xavier's contract section is more important. All right, let's move on. Sorry, long episode, but I got a lot to talk about. I've been away for a while, and it feels really great to be back in front of the camera. Obviously, it's uncomfortable that my boys aren't here with me, but we're all good. I'm just talking. Next question: Is Giannis's injury going to play a huge role in the finals? 1,000%, it's going to be. If Giannis is out, I do believe he's going to be out tonight. But if he is out, then we better see Chris Middleton step up. If Chris Middleton doesn't step up, this is going to be a very easy win for the Suns. If Giannis comes back sooner than later, then that might change. I don't know. If Chris Middleton still continues to play at a high level and Giannis comes back from injury and plays at 100%, then that'll be great. But we saw it with CP3 after he came back from injury in the Western Conference Finals that it still took him a few games to really get his mojo back, and then he hit 41 points in the Game 7 to close out that series against the Clippers. Same with Devin Booker. Got hit in the face, had to wear the mask for a couple games. It was uncomfortable. He was trying to get back to himself. Took off the mask and played fine. Like we're gonna see that. It's gonna happen. Do I expect Giannis to come back game 1 or 2? Maybe game 3. Even still, I'm gonna say that Giannis's injury it will play a huge role because I don't believe he's going to be back fully healthy. Then again, an 80% Giannis is better than a lot of the players at 100% in the league. But we're going to move on. Who will play a bigger role for their team in the finals, Chris Middleton or D-Book? With Giannis out, I'm going to say Chris Middleton. Chris Middleton will play a bigger role. That being said, my faith in Devin Booker does not wave at all. Chris Paul is obviously great. He's going to carry that team. DeAndre Ayton's playing at a high level. Jay Crowder Let's see. The Patriots question. Will the Patriots be back next season? I don't know. That's tough for me to say. I believe the Dolphins are probably going to be where they are next season, 10-6, 11-5. I believe that's what I put down for my prediction. 12 and God, it's so confusing now. The schedule changes. Okay, I believe they're either going to be 12-5 or 11-6. I don't remember exactly what I said. I know we probably said our predictions in the last episode, which was a couple months ago, which is when the schedules got released for the NFL season. But yeah, I think the Dolphins are going to be pretty good. I do think the Bills are still going to be up there. They obviously still have Stephon Diggs. They brought in Emmanuel Sanders, I believe. They still got Cole Beasley. So Josh Allen has all of his weapons. Obviously, his tight ends, Dawson Knox, they're not the best, but they're good. And they'll be good for him. Josh Allen's a very talented quarterback, and he's going to have the pieces around him. And their defense is still always solid. So I do believe that Josh Allen and the Bills are still going to be up there. The Dolphins are going to be up there. And the Patriots, they got a lot of weapons. They brought in Nelson Aguilar. They brought in Jonnu Smith, Hunter Henry. I believe they brought in another wide receiver, Kendrick Bourne from the 49ers, maybe. Don't remember exactly, but they got Kyle Van Noy back. They're going to get some Donta Hightower, some other pieces who weren't there during COVID last year, who decided to opt out of the season, are back this season. So the Patriots got some of the players back. They brought in some new pieces to hopefully help Cam Newton out. Hopefully Cam is playing at a very high level. From what I've seen, some of the throws he's making are bad, but from reports out of Patriots camp, Bill Belichick said he's playing pretty good. But if you're Bill Belichick, you're not. We don't know if you're telling the truth to the public. So I do think the Patriots will be better than they were last, but I don't know if they'll be back to the status that we know them to be. at least for my whole life. I've been alive 17 years now, and the Patriots have always been at the top of the division. Tom Brady obviously was there forever. I don't know if they'll be back to how I know them, how we all know them as, for at least the past 2 decades. But I do think they will be better than next season. That being said, I hope, knock on wood, that they are not better than the Dolphins. But I very much strongly believe that the AFC is going to have for the next few years probably 2 of the most competitive divisions in all of the league. The AFC North with with Pittsburgh, Cincinnati. They're gonna get Joe Burrow back. Cleveland and the Ravens. Lamar Jackson, obviously Baker's there. Obviously we got some talent there. Those 4 teams are gonna be good. The Bengals usually more on the down end, but hopefully they'll get some pieces in the future and do better. But that's a very challenging division to be in, and I do believe that that the AFC East with the Dolphins, Patriots, and Bills, won't even mention the 4th team, who shall not be named, in the division, but they're gonna be it's gonna be a hard one to be in for the next few years. We got a lot of young talent in our division. It's gonna be very interesting. But let's move on. Last question here. Last question. Where should Ben Simmons be traded to? Obviously, after his performance against the Hawks in the semifinals in the second round of the NBA playoffs in the Eastern Conference, Ben Simmons did not look very good. He was passing up open shots to the hoop. Joel Embiid sneakily called him out on it. So his coach, Doc Rivers, basically said, "Man, I don't know how to answer that. Like, look, like he's a great player. I know the guy. Like, it's gonna be interesting to watch what's gonna happen with Ben Simmons. Obviously, Philly is where Doc Rivers' first year there, number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. Joel is obviously the main attraction in Philly. He's obviously an amazing player, unbelievable. Ben Simmons is a great player. He can be a great player. His defense is unbelievable. His playmaking ability is usually top notch. He's a young, athletic guy that can get to the rim. He's a mini Giannis to me. All he needs now is to form some sort of jump shot, or at least some post movement. It just hasn't been working really. I know Stephen A has mentioned Portland, trade him for CJ McCollum, because CJ and Dame just can't win together there. Maybe if you bring in Ben Simmons, that's some new blood there. Stephen A also said Golden State, bring Ben Simmons to Golden State. You're going to get Klay Thompson back. That's an important move you're going to have to make. Draymond's still there. You still got that Dub Nation Big 3, right? You bring in Ben Simmons, not a bad idea. Would you have to give one of them up? I doubt that. Bob Myers and Daryl Morey will work some magic together to make sure that doesn't happen. Both are amazing GMs, so that would definitely be a tough trade to make happen. But Ben Simmons to the Bay Area, not a bad idea. We'll see. Don't know if that could work, but obviously he's a great player if he's with obviously Steph and Clay and Draymond are all great players. If they bring in Ben Simmons, who has the potential to be a great player, then obviously they'd be able to turn him into like the player that everyone thinks he is. But the pieces around you make you better. Everyone knows that LeBron, every team he's on, makes people better. KD makes people better, although Scottie Pippen disagrees. But you know what I mean. I don't know where Ben Simmons should be traded. I feel like that's going to have to be discussion post-NBA draft, where we see what the Sixers do, what other teams don't do. But do I think he should get out of Philly? All I'm going to say is they got rid of Markelle Fultz when they thought he was too injured. They gave up on him. I don't know what's so special about Ben Simmons that they think they got to keep him. When Markelle Fultz was in the bubble last year, he was playing at an incredibly high level. He was actually playing very, very well. He got a jump shot back. He was playing like a number one overall pick basketball. He really was. He was playing great. Like, people projected him to be out of college right before the bubble. Obviously, he tore his ACL, got injured, but I think he's going to be back. I just don't understand why they're trying with Ben Simmons so hard when previous stars, Jahlil Okafor, Nerlens Noel, and Markelle Fultz didn't work out. So I don't know. Maybe that's just my brain overthinking, but we'll see where he ends up. That's it for Adam's answers. All right, everyone. That is it for me on this very alone episode of Make Your Point. Last couple things before we go. Giannis was moved from doubtful, his game status from doubtful to questionable for Game 1 of tonight's NBA Finals, reported by Malika Andrews of ESPN. So I don't know how much of a difference that makes. Hopefully he plays. Like I said, it would make the finals more interesting. But I would a healthy Giannis in the finals. That being said, so hopefully he's healthy. Hopefully he's good enough to play. I don't know. If not, they should hold him out. They should wait. That being said, it is Game 1 of the NBA Finals, and on the show we like to predict things. Like I said, I'm rooting for CP3. At the beginning of the show, I said I'm rooting for CP3. I said I would tell you my prediction at the end. I'm going to go with the Suns winning the NBA Finals. If Giannis does not play, I'm going to be very strong on my stance and say that it's going 5 games if he doesn't play. 5 games. That being said, if he does play, I'm going to say 6 games. All right, but I'm going to say Suns in 6 games if Giannis plays. No, but overall, I'm just going to say Suns in 6. I think that's a good prediction. If it does go 7, I do think the Suns are going to pull it out. But I'm rooting for you, Chris. I'm rooting for you, CP3, D-Book, DeAndre Ayton, former Heat player Jay Crowder, James Jones, Monty Williams, who I think deserve to be Coach of the Year 1,000%. I wish both teams the best of luck. It should be very exciting. NFL season starts soon. July is our last month without NFL football. College football will be back. College basketball will be back later in the year. Baseball, soccer, everything else going on. So everything. Oh, the Olympics. The Olympics is happening in a little bit. Oh, that's exciting. Team USA. I wonder if you guys saw that. If you didn't, we got a good team. Bam's on the team. Very excited about that. Hopefully he starts because they don't really have any big men on the team. But anyways, that is it for me. Thank you for watching this annoyingly long episode of Make Your Point, but it was necessary. It feels good to be back. It feels weird that my guys aren't here with me, but I appreciate everyone tuning in today. If you stuck around for this long, I appreciate it so much. This has been episode 24 of Make Your Point, and hopefully we will see you next time. Have a good one.